Okay, hope everyone's well. Just down in the village of Lynmouth, which is on North Devon coast, about half an hour's ride from me. It's one of the rare dry days. It's been really cold. Well, it's been cold everywhere. And then tomorrow is due rain. So I thought, with this one day of dry, relatively mild weather, I'd take a bite for a spin, which I'll show you in a second. But yeah, I just wanted to start right here in Lynmouth. So it's 70 years ago, 15th and 16th of August 1952, when they had the big floods here. So I think it was an exceptionally large rainfall. Flooded this valley, the river obviously overflowed. 34 people killed in the night. There's a hotel there that got washed away, and then all the village down there was, I think the river took a different course, so it washed lots of it away, took people away in the night, cars and things like that. So yeah, 70 years ago is quite incredible that, you know, there's obviously no trace of it now. It's all been rebuilt, but yeah, it's a spectacular place, Lynmouth. If you ever down this way, that road that comes down there is A39. That comes from Minehead. It's a fantastic riding road, probably one of the best roads in Britain, really, and it's always quiet. And yeah, obviously comes to a place like this. So Lynmouth. Also, you got Boscastle down in Cornwall, which also had the floods in 2004, I think it was. Though I don't think anybody got killed on that one. So as you can see, they've rebuilt this entire river to make it safe, I guess. But right, we're gonna take you out on this Bullet Trials that I'm out on today. It's a bike that I bought for people to try back to back with the new Enfields. So when people came down to ride the Continental, Interceptor, Meteor Classic, Himalayan, Scram, they could also have a go on part of Royal Enfield's past. I mean, this is a 2021 bike, but I mean, it feels like it were built a lot longer ago than that. Rides very differently to modern stuff, more vibrations, quite a lot of torque, but not a lot of top end power. So it's a lot of short shifting, and for people who aren't used to short shifting, it's quite an awkward bike to ride. It handles okay, it rolls a lot in the corners, and it feels quite a weighty little thing. And compared to the new Classic 350, it's sort of light and night and day in how it rides. And I've got to be honest, I do prefer the new 350. It's just more refined, and the engine's more sort of revvable. So it almost, I would say, mile per hour comparison, there won't be any difference in it. This has just got that extra bit of torque. So yeah, with it being the Trials model, which means upswept exhaust, spoke wheel, well, they've all got spoke wheels, but yeah, it's got the Trials look. I'm going to take you up Beggars Roost, which is part of the Land's End Trial. So the Land's End Trial is run by the Motorcycle Club, and it's a historic, I think it's been going 100 years now or so. It's a historic well, it started as a car event. I think originally it was designed as a way for manufacturers to prove their vehicles were capable and worthy and durable. So I think originally it did go from Land's End to somewhere else, whereas now it's changed a little bit, and the route is a little bit shorter. But three of us did it. Let me just put my microphone. Three of us did it. It's in April. We did it on CT 110. Well, we had the 110, 125, and the American 110 with the high-low gearbox. And yeah, it was a very difficult run, I've got to be honest. We started in Cirencester, rode through the night. You ride through the night and then get to Bridgewater at about midnight, and then you get to the rugby club, and there's dinner available, and there's 500 entrants in total. So it's a fantastic sight and spectacle, because you've got all these cars and bikes, old cars. The cars can't be four-wheel drive, so you've got MX-5s with high lift kits. You've got what else do we have? Z3s, Beetles, Citroen 2CVs, homemade contraptions. How do you, mate? You alright? Yeah, so all sorts of stuff. It is like ancient Britain. It's a incredible experience. We unfortunately didn't complete it because three of us, Mike, Rich and myself. Mike's got a dodgy hip, and that gave way around 6 AM, and then I had an off on a lane at about 2 PM on the second day on a trail down in Cornwall. So the final lane is in Cornwall near Land's End. So there's about 10 trails throughout the 24 hours that you're riding, and it's a soft navigation thing. You've got a Well, you get a map book that you have to follow, and there's checkpoints. And you get to this point here, or at least we did, because it's a staggered start. We got to this bit about 1 o'clock in the morning. So you've been riding from 8 PM. We came up Lynmouth Hill at about 1 AM. We'd done one lane already in the dark, so you have to do a green lane in the dark. You can't see a thing, and because it was our first time we'd done it, we didn't know that on a bike it's best to take a or wear like a miner's lamp or an auxiliary light, because you just can't see anything on a dark trail. And the idea is obviously that you clear the sections and you win by I guess clearing all the sections. Some people do, you know. It's some of the trails are quite challenging and tricky, and some of the riders are really good. They're generally an older community of drivers and riders. There's quite a bit of that goes on in Britain, though, the long distance trials, which are difficult to find out about and difficult to access, but there's a passionate group of people still take part in them. There's been one down here in Exeter recently, and there's in the peaks all over Britain, really. So you're coming up this hill here at 2 AM, and look, cars and bikes are going through here all through the night. There's people on that caravan site, and the racket, because there's V8s and open exhaust cars, bikes, all rumbling up this hill. And I don't think anybody in the village must be able to get any sleep. And then you get to the top up here, which thankfully on the night that we did it, it was dry. It was a bit chilly, but it was dry. But to be honest, we all started struggling around. You know, I was at 3 o'clock, when you've been riding 6 hours and it's 3 AM in the morning, you're riding poorly lit back roads through Devon. I find it exhausting. I really struggled, to be honest. I'm really underprepared for the event. But there's old boys in the 70s doing it on C90s or on Teneres, not Teneres, Ceros and things like that. Incredible, incredible. So you come to the top up here. And then basically the event takes over this petrol station because everyone's refueling, and then the village hall that you can see on the right with the green tin roof, that's all opened by, I don't know, WI or somebody like Women's Institute, and they make bacon sandwiches and cake and tea and coffee. So there's probably like 100 cars and bikes at any one time here, or 50 or so, all lined up here getting fuel, having a bacon sandwich in there. It's such an incredible sight for a sleepy little Devon village. And then Beggars Roost is a second lane on the Land's End trial, and it starts just along here. Quite tricky, difficult to clear it on the posties because they make you start from a dead standstill at the bottom, and on the postage you haven't got the momentum or the power to get you up it cleanly. So it was a frustrating run up here. I had to dab a lot, and then I lost my phone midway up and never found it, so it's all in all a little bit frustrating. I'm going to go down into first for this. We'll see how the Bullet Trials manages on it. We haven't got a lot of suspension travel. We've got quite a lot of spin from the back, a lot of wet leaves. A lot of wet. I wonder if second might be better. Let's try second. That's it. Second is a better gear. Such a torquey engine, this. Imagine doing this at pitch black. Oh, it's that suspension travel. We really ain't got any suspension travel. Oh, blooming out, and these rocks are rough. Yeah, well, I've definitely not cleared it. Yeah, it's hard enough now. Imagine doing it without being able to see anything. Oh, this suspension. Oh, crikey. Trials by name, but not trials by nature. But we're up. So that's Beggars Roost, an historic little hill climb in Britain that's part of the Land's End trial. Let's get to the top of here. Oh, I mean, if anybody says to you that the Bullet is better off-road than the Himalayan, I'd definitely argue against that. I would definitely argue against that. You caught that on the Himalayan, no problem at all. Stood up, better suspension, more traction, I think. I was surprised then how badly these tyres span up on the leaves. You can certainly see how the Bullet's a great bike for rough roads of India, because you can get your feet down, it's nice and manageable. But for a green lane in England, I'd probably take the Himalayan. It's proper on a stand. That's the Bullet Trials. I'm going to give it a jet wash, but yeah, it's nice to be out, isn't it? Nice to be out. It's a as I say, a rare sunny day. It's not great amount of joy in being out when it's frosty, icy. As beautiful as it is in those conditions, it's not necessarily what you want to be doing. So it's nice just to get a bit of headspace. Christmas is coming up. It's easy in winter, isn't it, to get a dark nights, dark thoughts, and you know, you took the bike away, and sometimes what you really need to do is get the bike out and go for a little run. So that's kind of what I'm doing, and I thought, well, I'll take you out on that Bullet Trials. I've not ridden it for a while. It is actually, I'm going to put it up for sale, so if anybody wants a Bullet Trials, 2,300 miles on a 21 plate, 2 owners, give us a shout. It's red, obviously. I don't know, 3.8 or something like that. Give us a shout, treat yourself at Christmas. But this is where, I think this is where the bike makes most sense, just on tarmac back roads like this, really. It's smooth, it's pretty comfortable, and that suspension works absolutely fine on this sort of terrain when it's not choppy or stony. The brakes leave a little bit of something to be desired, that back brake especially. Oh, that back brake makes you worry, because you go for it and there's a lot of travel in it, and then it don't really bite anyway. And the front's okay, but yeah, you've certainly got to ride within its braking capacity, or conscious of its braking capacity. And then this road just drops us back down to Lynmouth. But yeah, if you're thinking about, if you've got a bike, a Serro, CRF, Himalayan, C90, anything like that, and you want to do the Land's End trial, just Google it, and then you have to join the motorcycle club. It's a bit of a faff, to be honest, getting involved, but I think it is worth it. I don't think there's an event, I don't think there's another event like it, as weird and as wacky and as British as the Land's End trial. It's sort of that, it's got the spirit that won the war type of thing, you know. You'll be an 80-year-old widow in a homemade 3-wheeled contraption going up these dark, muddy lanes through the night, and she'll do it year on year on year, and she'll do it till she dies probably. But incredible, an incredible British institution, which in this day and age is actually amazed that it can still go ahead. I guess environmentalism and health and safety, all those things sort of nibble into the joy of such petrol fueled events as those. But for the time being, it is still on, and it'll be on in 2023. So yeah, back to the petrol station. I'm going to turn off in a second and catch up soon. Actually, let me show you the full power of this Bullet. You ready? Whoa. Wow, Bullet power.